All right, I want to reply to this comment. I had another comment, basically the same thing. But first off, there's no way that I'm comparing Trump to Moses. But I also knew in advance making that video was going to stir the pot, so to say, a little bit. Because my message was deeper than superficially comparing Trump to Moses. I'm not doing that. I would never do that. They're leaps and bounds apart from each other. What I'm saying is that people still do not realize leadership when it is there, because our perspective of leadership has changed, and it's always changed. It's always been like this, basically the same, right? Think about the Egyptians back in the day. They were loud, they used whips, everything was chaotic. That's how they controlled the people. That's how they controlled the children of Israel, right? This is how they kept them in bondage, with fear, with money, bribery, right? Blackmail. That's the tools that were used to keep people in bondage. Well, we have had these same tools put on us, okay? Even before probably the internet, but the advent of the internet what it allowed was for evil men to have control again over the people. See, we were at one time, we had more freedom. Not saying that we don't have freedom. Not saying that we don't have freedom. We do. It's America. We have freedom. Period. Point blank. Say what you want to say. Think how you want to think. Right? But it wasn't as it is now then. Mainly because of the advent of the internet. But going back to leadership, Moses was a leader sent from God for the people. Now, let's think about this. Back then, at that time, did the people see Moses as a leader? They first saw him as another Egyptian. They didn't know that he was actually a Hebrew. And even when he did say that he was Hebrew, how many of those people actually believed he was Hebrew? Because all that they knew was that he was an Egyptian, that he was one of Pharaoh's sons. But he wasn't. It was part of all God's plan. Again, I'm not comparing Trump to Moses. Yes, I'm putting them in the same sentence. I'm putting them in the same conversation. But that does not mean that I'm comparing. I have not said that Trump is like Moses. I have not said Moses is like Trump. All right? That did not ever come out of my mouth. I did not, and I will not compare those two. I can't. I can only compare those individuals to who they were and who they used to be, and then what God created them to be. Okay? God puts everybody in position. He puts the rulers, the kings, the bishops, the presidents, the prime ministers. He puts them in place as part of his role. Never said, well, Matthew, what God has given us free will to choose right from wrong. We did. So are you telling me that a mass amount of people are wrong and totally thrown off the path? Hey, it's a possibility. We know that Antichrist is here. The spirit of the Antichrist has always been here. Okay? Now, I'm not saying it's Trump. I'm not saying it's Macron. I'm not saying it's Zelensky. I'm not saying the Antichrist is no one particular. But it's there. But leadership. We do not know true leadership. I do believe that there are excellent leadership qualities in Donald J. Trump. I believe him to be more of a leader than Kamala Harris, than Joe Biden, George Bush, Barack Obama. I believe that he is more of a true leader than what we have had in a very long time, which is why we've become desensitized what it means to be an actual true leader. Because all we know is how to get your way is complain, get loud, get noisy, get in your face, and we'll get our way. That's not true leadership. That's a false sense of leadership. That's a false sense of strength. Now that we see true strength and what a true leader looks like, we want to call names, say he's a bully, say he's a fascist. But there's a bigger picture painted here. because God paints the bigger picture. We need to stop looking at things from a right in front of our nose kind of thing, right in front of our nose type of perspective. We got to look farther away, outside of our nose, outside of our scope, outside of our usual thinking, because there's a bigger picture here. All right, there's a bigger picture. So I'm not comparing Trump to Moses. That's not it. What I'm stating again is the leadership. Generally speaking, this country has forgot what it means to be a leader, because a lot of men have become soft and weak, because we have allowed to be corrupted by other men, other women, that has either messed with our psychological mind, or with our mindset, with our psyche. It has messed with our hormones, with what we eat, right? So we become soft men, and now we have tough times, which creates tough men. Now we have true leaders stepping up in multiple different areas, multiple different companies, multiple different organizations, and it's hard to digest and process, because it's something that we forgot. Like a dang near a generation has gone without true men, without true strength from men, without true men as leaders. That's it. Straight up. But there's no comparison between those two. God bless y'all. I love y'all. Peace.